What kind of client are you? Yeah, what kind of client are you? Are you the one that requires excessive hand-holding? Do you need to constantly review and have a check-in on every move the lawyer makes? Or are you that kind of client that needs an actual visit every single time a motion is filed? Well, if you don't know what kind of client you are, I'm going to tell you. Yes, I'm going to give you some ideas of the various client types, and you're going to self-identify. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Self-Represented in Family Court, the only podcast you need if you're feeling lost, stuck, or overwhelmed in family court. At Self-Represented, we don't waste time discussing the law like all the other podcasts. We focus on what really matters in your divorce or custody case. That's strategy. With your host, Tracey Bee, former family law attorney turned pro se family court strategist.
Hello there, it's me, Tracey Bee. So I remember not too long ago, someone actually said to me in shock, "Wow, lawyers fire clients?" I said, "Oh yeah, we certainly do." And she could not believe that there was an instance where a client could do anything that would justify a lawyer getting rid of them. I thought that was hilarious. For one, it just smacks me in the face of what most people think of lawyers, especially family law attorneys, and that is that their money reigns supreme, that no matter what, because you're paying, they would or should endure whatever it is clients dish out, and that is the furthest from the truth. So let me start by saying this. Family law is one of the most stressful areas of law out there. I remember when I switched to doing family law when I was in private practice, I remember a family court judge saying to me, she just met me, and we came up to the bench for something, and she said to me, "Oh, you're new." And I said, "No, I'm not new to the practice of law. I'm new to family law." And she said, her words were, "Oh, I'll give you 5 years. You're going to burn out really quickly." And I don't know what it was about me, other than the fact that she was an African-American woman, and so am I. And maybe she knew that we might have the same temperance or tolerance level. But she called it. By year 5, I was done. But I absolutely love helping people in this area. My background is mental health. Before I actually went to law school, I did mental health. And so family law was the one area that allowed me to combine my two areas of discipline. So I loved helping people. I just didn't like the impact it had on me. I am not good at managing stress at all. I am not good at it at all. And anybody who knows me will tell you that I am just not good at it. It's just not my thing. And so just dealing with the stress of the clients, the stress of running a practice, the stress of rubbing shoulders with with my colleagues and playing the game, it was just, and still trying to have a personal life, it was just too much to bear. Luckily for me back then, I was single and didn't have any children. Now that's changed, but yeah, I burned out really quickly. But when I look back in retrospect, I should have fired more clients. But yeah, family law is not the area that most people will run to. I also remember a good friend and colleague of mine who has since passed on, may he rest in peace, saying to me, "Hey, you're switching over to family law." At the time I was doing criminal law. And he said, "You'll be back." He said, "Family law is nothing like criminal law." And I'm like, it can't be any worse than criminal law. And I was doing criminal defense, where I would see people that I knew were innocent be convicted and have to go to prison. And that just ate at my soul. And he told me, he said, "Nope, family law is way worse than criminal law, because in criminal law, when they're convicted or acquitted, you're done. The case is over. With family law, It never ends. And he called it as well. And so I reflect on those two stories quite often, especially when I explain to people why I do what I do now. And so family law, you don't see a lot of attorneys, especially ones who want to litigate, running to the area of family law. And I say that to say that they should fire clients. They absolutely should fire clients, because if a client is not aligned, just like if a lawyer is not aligned with your interests and your goals, you should, I don't know if you should keep firing lawyers, but lawyers should fire clients. Yes. So not any kind of client though. It depends on what kind of client we're talking about. So I want to talk to you about client types, client stereotypes, client personas, client images, whatever you want to call it. So let's get into it. So this is the first kind of client, I'm paying you so you figure it out. The one that dangles the fact that they pay on time, they pay in full. Some of them just pay. Whether they pay on time or in full, they just pay. And the fact that they pay tells them that they have the authority to dictate, to control, to boss around their attorney. You hired the lawyer, you sent them some documents, you assume they'll handle everything, right? That's you. The ones, hey, I paid, so they're gonna do what I say. They're gonna handle everything. I don't have to worry about anything. Meanwhile, you don't review your filings before they're submitted. You don't even understand your own financials. You're more reactive than you are proactive. And then you wait for updates instead of being involved in strategy. You don't even ask about strategy. But then one day you're in court and you're in a hearing and the arguments don't really reflect your situation. And you say, or you're thinking, wait, why didn't we bring that up? What kind of client do you think that is? What kind of client you think the lawyer think you are? How aligned do you think the lawyer is going to think you are with their own objectives and or goals? Let's go to the emotional reactor client. The one that every email triggers something from you. Every email from your ex, every exchange from your ex, it triggers something. Every document you get and you read that they have false allegations, you get all upset. And so you send these long emotional messages to your lawyer. You push for unnecessary filings just to respond. You insist that they reach out to the other party or their attorney to explain all the falsities and the deceptive and the lies that are being told and spewed. You insist that they reach out to the attorney to discuss all the violative behavior. You insist that they call the court or the judge's law secretary or court clerk or court attorney to let them know that you need to be in front of them to discuss these issues. You focus more on being heard than being effective. So in court, you're probably coming off as the one that is highly emotional and probably less credible. What kind of client are you? Is that you? What do you think the lawyer thinks of you? How do you think the lawyer is going to treat you, view you? Should they fire you? Okay, how about the half in, half out client? You question your lawyer, but you don't offer alternatives. You want control. Of course you want control, but you don't want the responsibility or take the accountability. You do some research, but you're not consistent with it. You don't even know where to do the right research at. Your idea of doing research is going to Facebook and asking in random groups from random strangers what something means or what the process is or what should you do, and then you go back to your lawyer, telling your lawyer exactly what was said to you in a random Facebook group without you doing your own research. And then you start organizing, but you get overwhelmed and you just give up and you just turn in what you could when you feel like it. Your case ends up fragmented all over the place. You're half in, half out. What do you think the lawyer is thinking of you being half in, half out? Do you think the lawyer should fire you? How do you think the lawyer should treat you, receive you, interact with you? Okay, how about the informed but unfocused client? You do your homework. Oh yeah, you do your homework. You watch videos, you listen to podcasts, you read posts, you collect advice from Reddit and any other group. You do all of that. But you're drowning in information. You have so much information. So you are all over the place with all this information. You don't even know what to do with it. And then you want to dump it all on the attorney. You want to dictate to the attorney how things should go because you have all this information. Never mind, you don't have a strategy. All you have is information. You don't have a strategy. You just want to take the information and say you've done something. You know this. So you should be listened to and heard. What do you think your lawyer should think about you? How do you think your lawyer should rate you, receive you, treat you, interact with you? Should they fire you? The strategic client. Yes, let's talk about the strategic client. Now, this is where things shift. This is where you will have more likelihood of the attorney not firing you, not just not firing you, but liking you, respecting you, appreciating you, and incorporating you into the overall strategy. They are usually transparent. They usually communicate well with you if that's their style. But they do regard you way more than the other ones I've just mentioned because you understand your case themes. You're not just stuck on the facts. You understand the themes and the theories. You know the outcomes that you're likely to get, but you also know the outcomes that are possible to get. You're aware of those. You organize your evidence with intention. They're more aligned to the specific issues and claims that are involved in your case. They're just not random evidence, years and years of screenshots and audio and digital and pictures and all that. You have condensed it to make sure it's aligned and organized to exactly what the issues are and the claims that are involved in your case. You collaborate with your lawyer. You respect the lawyer. You respect their way of doing things. You express your interests and your concerns, but you do it in a way where you defer to them. You don't give them 100% control. You're very proactive, and you're always 3 steps ahead. Instead of acting emotionally, you're able to actually work collaboratively, collectively to problem solve. Of course, your lawyer is not going to fire you unless they just can't deal with the fact that you are the kind of client that is going to demand accountability and transparency, and they're just not a good lawyer to begin with, and so they're not going to be okay with any of that. Here's the truth though, really, honestly. So those are the 5 scenarios, but here's the truth. You can be any one of those types of clients. You really can. What you decide to do with respect to hiring a lawyer or being pro se is going to determine how your case winds up proceeding down the family court process or through the family court process. You as a client absolutely need to be mindful of your responsibilities and your obligations as a client, which are you have to, from the onset, discuss communication. Discuss what the best communication method is for you and to make sure it aligns with the lawyer's way of doing things. Discuss what your expectations are clearly, explicitly from the beginning so that your lawyer has the opportunity to tell you whether or not they can meet your expectations. Oftentimes, this is not discussed And it's often the reason why the lawyer fire clients, the client fires the lawyer, is that lack of discussion of expectations, a mismatch of expectations. When you have some sort of disagreement or confusion or disconnect, have a meeting, have a discussion, hash out, be transparent with each other about what is going on, what can improve, what can change, what can be better. Have a discussion. And lastly, it is ideal to, when you can, to defer to the lawyer with them doing their part of the job, which is advocating for you. They're not there to make sure your kids are safe, to make sure your children's best interests are paramount to anything else. That's not their job. Understand what their role is and respect it, because you can easily get off track thinking that your priorities, your interests in your case for your situation is what the lawyer's should be, and that's not the case. The lawyer's role is to advocate for you and to protect your interests and your children's interests, but not necessarily to fight for your children's best interests. There is a difference. So if you are any one of those types of clients, but you are in possession, you're aware of, you accept, you can grasp those responsibilities that you have as a client, you may have a better shot at the lawyer working with you and maybe not firing you, but putting you on probation. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you want to talk to me about anything you're concerned about with your current lawyer, or you're in between lawyers, or you are pro se and you want to talk about how you can use lawyers in other capacities, please feel free to schedule a strategy session with me, and we can actually go through what might be best for you and your overall objectives, your overall goals, and come up with a game plan that's going to help you increase your chances of accomplishing your goals. So in the meantime, stay tuned each and every week. I release a new episode each and every week, every Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to drop me a message if you have a topic that you want me to discuss. Send me an email at divorcecoachesq@gmail.com, and I will incorporate that into my future shows. Thank you so much. Hope to hear from you soon. Until then, take care.
If you're having an active family court case and something already feels off, you need to identify where your case is seriously exposed. Schedule a strategy session now so we can shield your case from more damage. You can't afford to keep guessing. It's costing you way too much.